This is Open Line on the VOCM Big Land FM radio network.
Welcome back to the show. Let's go to line number 3. Ed, you're on the air.
Who did you say was on the air?
That's you, Ed.
Yeah, Paddy, I can't even come close to getting through all that I got to say here this morning in 5 minutes. I'm wondering if I can stay through the news break.
Well, let's get started. Let's see what you have. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, 10 years ago, according to Andrew Parsons, they knew about this wind turbines in central Newfoundland, And anyway, I'm going to tell you some of the things that's been closed, the business that's been closed or about to be closed here in central Newfoundland. Well, 10 years ago, or less than 10 years ago, we hooked up to bottled water supply. Now it's becoming clear why. Our water supply is going to be contaminated here now. We're getting our water right now from Grand Falls. But anyway, the 5 businesses that are closed are the Jumpers Brook Quarry, the best ground in the world. You heard a little while ago on about the Cenotaph in St. John's. The government got him closed because he uses a diesel generator. Now, he could have supplied the granite. It's the best, finest granite in the world. And the granite that they're using came from India, goes to Nova Scotia, and back to Newfoundland. And this is going on the grave of an unknown soldier. There was a beef farm here that was doing really good. Everything was a go. Where the wind farms are going, they needed the land, so guess what? They put him out of business. There's a hunting lodge right now in this area that's negotiating with Everett to buy him out. So what did that tell you about the moose hunting in Newfoundland? It's done. It's going to be finished. The mussel farm in Pleasant View, I was talking to the owner of the mussel farm in Pleasant View. 2 parts of his site, now one road was put in so far, and that was a road for cutting and it's clear cut. 2 parts of his site is already shut down. Now, he's been on the go for 40 years anyway, but when they do more cutting, it's going to be, he'll have to close. 2 parts of his site is already closed down because of contamination in his site, right? Then you got the fisheries, with what the government been coming down on the fisheries all across Newfoundland. They're closing down rural Newfoundland, and yet they're spending all their money in St. John's, $200 million now for housing, and the mayor was on saying how they got to build up instead of out. A new prison, new hospital, 2 new hospitals, new schools. They're getting ready, and the reason they're getting ready, as far as I'm concerned, is because we're not going to be able to live here. There's 16 turbines going right in our municipality, and they're big. They're 600 feet high. Less than a kilometer away, some places here in town. Our mayors, I was talking to our mayor last night, and I think he's been led down the garden path. Do you know Dean Command, Paddy?
Do I know who?
Dean Command.
No, I don't.
Well, apparently he knows you. He's quoting your name in the mayor's meetings.
Okay, so what's his surname again?
Dean Command.
Command. No, I don't know that name. He quoted me how? Oh, well, I suppose people can quote whatever they hear from me on the show.
Well,
I guess that's just how it goes.
The fine job that you're doing promoting these wind farms, and I've listened
promoting
to
the wind farms.
Yes, I'm a religious listener to your program. I listen to your program every day.
I appreciate that, but how have I supported anything? I mean,
that's what I would like to know too, because I haven't heard it.
Well, the vast majority of conversation on this program has been 100% negative against these wind farms. We've only had a couple of callers since these proposals came forward that had anything good to say about them.
Yes. So why would, and I mean, this came from the mayors, and here's, the mayors are all signing this now, and they're not taking it to the council. The mayors themselves are signing these letters without taking it to the councils. And, I talked to the mayor. I know the mayors around here. They're good men. There's nothing wrong with the men, but they're being led astray by somebody. I don't know why. I can't understand why. But you just answered one question right then when you said that you knew nothing about it, but still your name is being bandied around.
Yeah, I can't do anything about that.
No.
But, I mean, if someone calls who is opposed to anything under the sun, I kind of feel like my job is to ask questions about why they feel certain things about certain proposals in certain industries. I mean, that doesn't constitute being a full-throated support of anything. That's just how this job works. So if someone calls in full support of the wind project, then my role would be to ask questions as to how they justify their support, in combination with jobs and revenue and the environmental concerns. So that's just how it works around here. People will cherry-pick things I say. That's nature of the beast. I can't do anything about that. And I know that going into every single morning at 9 o'clock. People will cherry-pick, will take things out of context. I'll be quoted. But, of course, at the end of the day, I have zero authority. Right, I have nothing to do with the ban. I have nothing to do with the proposals. I have no authority to say yay or nay to any of these things. It's just part of the conversation.
Yeah, but you are on open line, and a lot of people listen to you.
Sure.
And all I'm asking for you or any other news media is that we give a fair. We're fighting for our life here. This is our life, and I've worked right across Canada, Paddy, and I've worked all over Newfoundland and Labrador. This is a beautiful place. There's no place that I never left. There's no time that I ever left to go away that there wasn't a tear in my eye. And there was no time that ever I came back when I was glad to get out of where I was, to be honest with you. But to see this now taken by a bunch of billionaires and used and desecrated, this land will be desecrated. And you know who this for? And I said this to the mayor last night. He got kind of irritated to me. It's for a bunch of people that murdered a generation of our young men in the First World War. And now, and his comment to me was, I don't think they're like that now. But you know something? Tell that to the people that lost loved ones in the First World War, or watch their people with shell shock, they used to call it then. Yeah. Watch them. My grandson is in the armed forces. I've never missed a Memorial Day since I can remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that has to do with wind proposals or what have you.
No, but this is where this is going. It's going to Germany. Don't they have wind in Germany?
Of course they do. And look, I mean, insofar as that goes, I don't know if you heard John Risley on this program, but when these proposals first came to light, Risley was on this show.
Yeah,
and
I heard him.
Every single question that I could think of and that listeners sent to me, I asked of the proponent. So I'm not sure what else we can do. Same thing when we've asked questions of the Minister of the Environment, when we've asked questions of Minister Parsons. That's just how this works. So, I'm not sure.
We've asked the question, will the value of our houses go down, our property go down here in Northern Ireland? We can't get an answer on that.
Well, I don't think anybody can answer that, though.
Well,
we can opine. Sure.
They can move the turbines away. Just face it, Paddy. There's 16 turbines going right in the town limits, and our town council is there and doing nothing about it. They're paid to represent us, and they're not. 70% of the people on the question of the week was when Bernard Davis went on about his. Do they agree with giving the green light to the people on the Port-au-Port Peninsula? 70% said no. 30%. So 70% people don't mean anything. Anyway, wondering about something else too. They're using in the plant, in the hydrogen plant in Botwood, they're using solar panels. And there's no explanation for why. When all this electricity being generated with turbines all around everywhere, and I'm wondering if Botwood is going to be using solar panels, or are we just going to take the the wind turbines out around everywhere else, and Botwood is going to stay clear because, from what I can see, the ex-mayor of Botwood is one of the pushers on this. The ex-town manager of Botwood, now, he came to me one day and said he was finished with the town of Botwood. He never said anything. I said, well, you're kind of young to retire. And he said, yeah, he said, but I can. And about a week after that, certainly he was announced that he was working with Everett. And then you got the ex-leader of the NIGMA. And I can see what they're doing, but, these little mayors in these towns, they're being led in the dark. I think they are. I'm 79 years old, and I still got my mind. Some people say I haven't, but I still got my mind. And, to see what's going to happen here, it's not, it's not right. It's just not right. Are you still there?
I'm just listening, sir.
Okay. They're working for these people now. But I'm wondering why are the mayors of all these small towns, I'm wondering why they're so interested. Are they being bought off or are they being led in the dark? Because they're good people. They're not people that... Now, I saw our mayor here, right? This mayor here. Not too long ago, a few years, there was a problem here, and he was willing to go to the guillotine for it. For the people in this town. But there's something has changed, and I can't get my mind around what it is.
But isn't it possible, Ed, that people might just have a different opinion, as opposed to the fact that someone might be corrupted or bought off? Because I hear that all the time. But isn't it possible that people just have different opinions about the potential economics of it, or what do you think?
Well, I'll use this as an example, Paddy. I saw somebody training a town employee, and he was trying to flush 40-something kilometers of water pipe through a 2-inch hydrant. And I pulled up and I said to him, that can't happen. You can't do that. And he said, well, what else can you do? There's nothing else we can do. Well, we're on the end of a line now from Grand Falls down here. There's no flush-out lines, only hydrants. And he was training the town man. So did he really know what he was training them for? Because you can't flush. I've been in plumbing and pipe fitting for 50 years, 58 years, as a matter of fact. And I worked all these jobs, and I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. But more I see these people come in off the street, and they go to council, they go to the government, and they says, okay, I'm going to run now for... And they really, but when they get there, they stop listening to the people. And I don't understand that. They stop listening to what the people, 70% of the people in Newfoundland don't want these turbines. And yet everybody seems to be going ahead with 30%. What does that tell you? Is this a democracy or the couple of previous callers there, he was talking about that's a democratic society, but it's getting further and further away from the democratic society. There was a letter put out from that all the mayors signed. They never took it to their councils. The mayors signed it, but guess what? That's going to come out in the open now, and I hope that they do the right thing, and they should resign if they're not going to follow the municipal bylaws and the government bylaws. They shouldn't be there.
Yeah, and inside the world of a democracy, people vote for a government, and then we have to hope that they do what's in the collective best interest. People are clamoring for a referendum, say, for instance, on this one, but at the exact same time saying they don't have enough information about the projects and can't get answers to their questions at these town halls or presentations from the various companies. So it's hard to have a referendum when people admittedly think that they don't have enough information on these things. We've talked about it extensively. I'm happy to have calls, and I'll repeat, there's only been 1 or 2 calls where people have been in support of these proposals. Every other call has been opposed to the proposals. So that's kind of how it works here on this program. We don't invite everyday people on specifically or individually to say, please come on and talk about something in a glowing light. I never do anything like that. Whatever the callers bring is what the callers bring, and I don't know what they're going to say until I press the button. Like, for instance, with your call, I had no idea what you were going to say about these wind turbines until we started to talk. So that's just how this program, and I guess this world works. So if a mayor or anybody else wants to cherry pick or take things out of context and pretend that I've been in support of or condemning something or other without actually painting the full picture, there's nothing I can do about that. And I'm not going to lose any sleep over it because I've been doing this for a long time, and that's just been nature of the beast. Whether or not it's fair, probably not. But again, that's how it works. Ed, very quickly, I'll give you the final thoughts because I do have to go.
Yeah, well, Paddy, there's an old saying, they came for my friends, I did nothing. They came for my brother, I did nothing, and now they're coming for me. But guess what, Paddy? I've done what I can do to try to get ahead of this. I feel like I'm butting my head against a brick wall, but as long as I can fight, it's probably not going to do us any good. Me and my wife are senior citizens now. We're on the last end of our life. But there is young people that's coming up, and there is young people that's going to be living here, but I feel very much like maybe they won't be able to live here.
I appreciate your time, Ed. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the call.
Your time, Paddy. Thank you very much for the call, and thank you very much for listening to me. And all we ask is a fair chance.
Appreciate your time. Stay in touch, Ed.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.